Next up, we have Martin Kocandrle. Martin's going to give us an exclusive peek at the inner workings of an $11 million marketing funnel. He will show us the exact traffic mix that brings qualified leads ready to buy. You'll get his tips on creating a high converting offer and discover how to keep customers climbing your value ladder. Can't wait for this. Let's go, Martin.
Hey everyone, welcome to our presentation on the inner workings of an $11 million funnel revealed. We're really excited to share with you our key learnings from working on super successful and highly profitable funnels over the past couple of years. We want to share with you key techniques that are part of the core infrastructure of running a highly effective funnel that you likely won't find anywhere else. We'll also be sharing 2 free resources at the end of this presentation to help you along your journey. By watching today's session, you're going to learn the critical elements of what can turn a regular funnel into an 8-figure behemoth that drives positive outcomes for you and your customers. The 3 things that you'll be able to take away from today's talk are creating a value ladder that allows you to outspend your competition, creating a traffic mix that brings highly qualified and motivated leads to your funnel, and how to track and measure your customer journey for maximum results. This presentation is for CEOs, business owners, or marketing leaders of lead generation or e-commerce businesses. It's also for anyone whose product has a long consideration cycle and they're looking to close the loop between marketing and sales, and anyone who wants to expand their channel mix while staying within their cost per lead range. A little about myself. My name is Martin Kocandrle, and I have over 10 years experience in the agency world, ranging from account management, business development, media buying, and operations. I'm the COO of Virtual Ad. We're a performance marketing agency specialized in media buying across all major ad platforms, specifically for clients that need lead generation for high ticket offers, as well as D2C e-commerce brands. We're managing about $750K in ad spend monthly, and what brings me joy is when we're able to meet and exceed our clients' expectations. This presentation and our results would not be possible without the team you see on your right that helps our clients achieve incredible results on a weekly basis. So let's get started and deep dive into the critical elements that make a multi-million-dollar funnel. Number 1 is building your value ladder. Number 2, master your traffic mix. Number 3, create an ironclad tracking and measurement framework. Building your value ladder. This is probably one of the most important elements in setting up a successful funnel. But what is a value ladder? It's how your customer journey progresses throughout your customer's lifetime interacting with your company. A value ladder stems from the fact that it is sometimes challenging to get someone to buy your highest ticket item as their first purchase because the item's perceived price is too high, or even your customer might not even be aware of the fact that they need that product yet. So a value ladder is a way to start small and capture your prospect's attention and slowly introduce them to more products and services as they climb the ladder. Here's an example of a value ladder from a client that we work with. Their highest ticket item costs $25,000. This would be nearly impossible to sell as a first purchase to someone without prior knowledge of the company, their delivery mechanism, proof of results, and most importantly, customers might not even understand why they need that product that costs $25,000. That's why our client starts by casting a wider net with a free educational webinar. That webinar introduces people to the topic area, different methodologies on achieving success, and most importantly, it's allowing the business to build first-party data and trust with the customer. To continue their education, the viewer has an option to purchase a 3-day live workshop for $297 and learn from several other experts. The workshop value is packed, and there's probably about 30 to 40 hours worth of content. At the end of the workshop, there's the option to join a subscription-based video training hub, as well as customized coaching packages. Now, as students become more proficient and ultimately benefit financially by all their newfound knowledge and implementing all of the new techniques, they have the option to buy in at a major partner level of $25,000, where they can work on exclusive deals as an equity investor. Now, this value ladder is applicable to businesses in all areas. It's not just lead generation. This can be applied to e-commerce as well. So let's just use a quick example. Quick example could be you send out a free sample. This progresses to a full purchase, to a product bundle, and then the holy grail of a subscription sign-up. So why is a value ladder important? The number 1 reason is that it gives the customer more value. It also guides your customers to have success with your products. It establishes a long-term relationship with your brand, increases your customer lifetime value, and ultimately gives you more flexibility in acquiring customers, which we'll explore now. So let's take a look at the value ladder advantage. When we compare the value ladder approach versus a one-time purchase, there are some advantages and disadvantages. The advantages of a one-time purchase is that it's easier on cash flow. Chances are you're going to be first purchase profitable, but you might also get fewer leads and lower purchase volume. Now on the CLTV example, you'll have more flexibility in your cost per lead, more lead volume, but it'll also take longer to monetize and you have a higher cost to serve your customer. So let's take a look at a numerical comparative example. With no value ladder, you're going to want to acquire your customer profitably right from the get-go. And now, in order to do this, you'll need a lower cost per lead, and taking into account the same conversion rates, you will ultimately get more purchases and more revenue in comparison to the first stages of the value ladder, where there's only a ROAS of 1.3. However, when we continue down the value ladder and see the addition of coaching purchases, major partner purchases, we see an extra 1.4 million added to the bottom line and a ROAS of 18. This illustrates to you why you see industry leaders advertising so aggressively, because they can acquire customers on the front end at a steep discount. Now, this is a pretty aggressive example where the value ladder has a low ROAS of 1.3, but it's really meant to illustrate the flexibility you have in order to drive sales volume when you have a value ladder. But of course, you can still run the same funnel with a profitable first purchase strategy, but it really just depends on how much volume you want to be running through your funnel and how aggressive your customer acquisition efforts are. So, in summary, a value ladder creates a longer customer lifetime value. It gives more flexibility in your cost per lead, allows you to pass more volume through your funnel, and ultimately, it's a more lucrative business model that is better for you and your customer. Now, secondly, what every successful funnel has is a reliable and high-performing traffic mix. So within this section, we'd like to walk you through a framework for channel selection and a guide for channel diversification. When it comes to choosing your paid channels, it's helpful to set up a matrix of all the criteria that is important to you. This can consist of some of the following. How expensive is that prospective channel? What are the capabilities of the platform? For example, does it have a low friction lead form option? What is the audience experience like when they view your ad and then go to your lead magnet? Does this new channel fit with your brand? Does the platform integrate with your CRM so you can record and send back real-time data? And to what degree are you getting measurable outcomes? For example, TV and direct mail have great reach, but they're much harder to record results in comparison to direct response channels. When it comes to channel mix, lots of businesses end up relying solely on one channel for their lead generation, because their primary metric is ultimately cost per lead. And they find it very difficult to justify paying more for a lead when they can get it cheaper elsewhere. But there's still many good reasons to justify diversifying your traffic mix. One of which is you reduce your risk and reliance on one channel. You learn to balance your cost per lead and your later conversion rates. You can also add new channels to increase your purchase volume. So let's take a look at risk and reliance in a little bit more detail. When you're dependent on one channel, you're highly susceptible to a couple of things, one of which is ad disapprovals, account bans, long resolution times, lagging performance on one channel. You have a singular revenue stream, and then also you're at the mercy of any major platform changes that happen. However, when you diversify your traffic mix, you're able to benefit from things like backup advertising channels. There's variable content standards across different platforms. Your funnel is going to stay live while you're working through major issues on other platforms. You can move your budget to other high-performing channels. You'll have multiple revenue streams and ultimately be increasing the number of reliable channels that you have available. So let's look at audience expansion through a retail analogy. Let's say you open a store in a residential neighborhood. It's low-cost rent and plenty of foot traffic. So maybe this is like a Facebook. But you realize that you've really tapped into that audience, you're experiencing some saturation, and you want to expand through another more premium location, like Google, let's say. However, when you consider the price of rent or the cost, you realize that it's much higher than the neighborhood store, but you decide to move forward anyway. And in your more premium location, although it's more expensive, you notice that people are buying at a higher volume, but ultimately you're still paying more for this real estate. Now, do you shut down your premium location because it is costing you more to get people through the door? No. Although the price economics are different, by adding this second location, you've actually tapped into a new audience and been able to increase your net sales volume for your business overall. As long as you're not cannibalizing your initial audience, this expansion will ultimately lead to more sales. Now let's look at a numerical example of this. We're going to compare Facebook and Google. In each channel, you're spending about $50K, but Facebook is bringing in $10 cost per lead, while Google is bringing in a $15 cost per lead. Google, on a cost per lead basis, Google is, technically the loser in this case. And at first glance, you probably just turn it off. But since Google users tend to have more intent, that traffic is actually converting at 5%, leading to more purchases and a higher ROAS. So it's important to go beyond just the lead conversion and look at the overall sales conversion as well. So in summary, you want to map your channel criteria carefully. You want to reduce your risk and reliance on one channel, expand your audiences strategically, and consider purchase conversions in addition to your cost per lead. So to scale your funnel accurately, you're also going to need all the correct data to make optimization and budgeting decisions. We're going to walk through some best practices when it comes to tracking setups, attribution models, and customer journey graduation. When it comes to tracking best practices, there are 9 main areas we look to set up in every funnel, which you can see here, and I'll also go into detail about the process. In terms of the methodology, the foundation starts with the implementation of Google Tag Manager. Tracking in a digital world is fluid, so you can leverage GTM to quickly implement new tracking events across multiple channels without affecting website source code. And once GTM is implemented, you can create event triggers at key points in the user's journey. Triggers are actions taken by a user and are used to send tagged event data to relevant reporting and campaign management software. Without this, you could not accurately track and measure campaign effectiveness towards specific goals. When it comes to testing your tags, you'll want to use Google Tag Assistant. This is an extremely important step in the process. Without verifying triggers and tags per your setup parameters, event tracking can have a negative impact on measurement, reporting, campaign optimizations, and client goals. Some of these impacts could include skewed reporting, event duplication, and wasted advertising spend. So, with tags and triggers verified and firing constantly, the next step is to review event data in each funnel. When event data is verified in each channel, you can mark the events as conversions, allowing you to optimize that campaign performance toward your specific events. To take this a step further, you can visualize this through a real-time reporting dashboard that quickly and easily showcases value-based conversion event data across multiple digital channels into an aggregate overview. Some of the benefits of this are that it improves the ad platform optimization algorithm by sharing first-party data via custom events and triggers and data feeds. You'll be able to restrict campaign spending based on hitting minimum performance metrics and test advanced bidding tactics to reduce conversion costs. You'll be able to find users online who are most likely to become customers based on first-party data. You'll also be able to optimize towards event triggers based on which consideration phase users are in and share audience data across multiple platforms via custom event setups and CSV data feeds. Now, as you roll out multiple channels, it's important to have visibility into different attribution models that are reflective of each ad platform's contribution towards the conversion point. Certain models tend to undervalue the contribution of ad platforms to the customer journey. For example, an internal meta-analysis of 32 businesses that showed an average last-click attribution undervalues Facebook and Instagram by 47%. So there are a number of different models out there like first touch, last touch, linear, time decay, but you need to use the one that's reflective of your customer journey and the analysis that you need. Another strong consideration is to invest in a third-party attribution platform. The ad platforms themselves do a great job of providing information on campaign optimizations, but you really want to make sure you have a solid, objective, third-party view of how all of your marketing channels are working together. Now, let's get into tracking the funnel. Another really great way to monitor the health of your funnel is by measuring the user graduation rate. Specifically, we're going to look at the graduation rate, which is taking your users from steps A, B, C, all the way to becoming a customer. This is a great way to understand your funnel's effectiveness at each step when you have a long sales cycle. So the first step is looking at a profitability formula. This consists of the number of visitors multiplied by the users that are graduating through each step of your marketing funnel, multiplied by customer lifetime value. Multiply these three together, you get your revenue metrics, and then you can subtract your variable costs. Now, if you followed some of the tracking best practices that were discussed in the previous slides, you'll be able to import these custom tags for each step of the funnel as conversion goals into Google Analytics and create a funnel visualization report to see this drop off. And this is one of the first bonus resources that we've made available at the end of this presentation. To optimize your funnel, let's look at a specific scenario using the value ladder we explored earlier in the presentation. With drop-off tracking in place, we can see there's an abnormal drop-off for people that are visiting the site and initiating registration but not completing it. Likewise, there's a number of people that signed up for the webinar but did not end up attending. So how do we improve these metrics? Without drop-off tracking metrics, it's hard to isolate the issues, and it could be a number of things. Maybe your ads aren't performing, maybe the ad platform is more expensive due to high ad auction competition, maybe the landing page is broken, maybe the registration forms don't work well on mobile. But by isolating these two metrics, a couple of optimization scenarios pop up. One is developing stronger ad relevance between the ads and the landing page. Perhaps we need to retarget with greater value or incentive to get people to sign up. Or maybe we need to simplify the registration form, ask for less info, and optimize the experience to all devices. So for people that signed up for the webinar but did not attend, maybe we need more reminders via email and SMS to send them the attendance link. Perhaps we need to limit future masterclass dates so that they have to attend now, and that leads to us being able to implement more scarcity and urgency in the messaging. Outside of just isolating key issues, it's also helpful to look at how certain adjustments can impact the actual funnel. Let's stick with our profitability formula, and for this particular example, we can look at the number of users. We have roughly 700K multiplied by users that got to the last step. Multiply by the workshop price of $297, and this gives us a revenue of $4.9 million. Now we've added two columns to set a target graduation rate at key points of the funnel where there's a lower than expected conversion. So for example, if we were to implement improvements that help registrations initiated go from 279,000 to 323,000, webinar attendees go from 123 to 152,000, offers seen from 45 to 55, and our buyers from 16 to 20,000, we would get a revenue jump from 4.9 million to 6.1 million. This is a 123% increase with an incremental revenue of 1.1 million. This may seem like a big jump, but it serves as an example that any incremental improvements you make on your funnel will have a significant downstream impact on your revenue. So if you want a copy of this spreadsheet to use and track the user graduation rate and funnel improvements, stay tuned to the end and we'll be able to share it with you. Now, in summary, it's essential to have the right tracking in place. Third-party attribution is just going to give you a better view into your marketing. Graduation rates help to diagnose any funnel issues that you have. Improving your conversion points in your funnel will also have major downstream impacts. Well, folks, that's a wrap. Here are some of the main points that we covered today. A value ladder is essential in maximizing your ROAS. This will help to increase sales volume in your funnel. Your cost per lead is not always reflective of a channel's success and contribution, and graduation rate improvements will have a massive impact on your bottom line. It was so awesome hanging out with you today. Thanks for giving me a moment of your time, and please remember that we have two free resources for you, both the graduation rate calculator and the Google Analytics funnel visualizer. Hit us up on Instagram at virtualad, and we'd be happy to pass those along. See you later.